Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. So we're doing things a little bit different, Yen. We're starting on the Big Show TV instead of on air first. But first, we want to do something a little bit different because we're celebrating something today, and it's actually somebody's birthday.
Yes,
We found out it was somebody's birthday. So what we need to do is we need to sing this person a birthday song,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
Okay, are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Juliana. Happy birthday to you. You are so fabulous at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Happy birthday.
It's not a big deal.
You know how much digging we had to do to find out whether it was your birthday? A lot. Because it's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Are you not someone that celebrates your
Thank
birthday?
you. I mean, I do with my family.
Okay.
But that's it.
And we've got a
Yeah.
very
And we've got
special.
Spencer.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
cake in time, so this is
What was that the wedding? Oh, please don't catch fire.
Your new favorite
Yeah, your new favorite food is the curry puff. So we got you the curry puffs.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Juliana. Happy birthday to
I'm
you.
gonna blow this out before anything catches fire here.
There you go.
Before the bosses
Thank you.
Yeah, true.
Not supposed to have any candles in here. Wow, you made special candle holders.
That's right.
Beautiful.
Very
There
creative.
you go. So you've got your
You got your breakfast
Nice.
and your
your
do.
birthday curry
birthday
puffs.
cake all in one.
So you're 18 all over again.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Awesome stuff.
Okay.
I'm surprised you all even found out.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you won't believe the amount of stuff that's gone on to find out about
Yeah.
your birthday.
The
Holy
people we
smoke.
had to find out from,
Yeah.
the questions we had to ask, the socials we had to scour. So,
Really?
what do you have big plans for today then?
I actually have an event tonight. I
Oh.
have a meeting later and
You're
then an event
working.
tonight.
You're
I am.
working.
Kidding on
No.
your birthday.
No,
That's
but
all right.
I like it that way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay to work on your birthday.
I
What's wrong
would
with that?
I never work
Oh,
on my
really?
birthday.
I've worked before on my
I don't
birthday.
work on my birthday. You got to pay me a lot of money to work on my birthday.
It's not a public holiday,
because
FD.
my birthday means I'm served hand over foot.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, the
Very
new
good.
generation hustles.
Yeah, they hustle. Yeah, very different.
They hustle. Speaking of generations, that's what today's topic is
Yeah.
about, right? Because we're talking about the Gen Ys.
Yes.
And how they are. Are they already leaders? Oh my gosh. We
Yes,
Googled
they
it. The Gen Ys are like the 80s to the 90s?
Yes. So they are late 20s to early 40s. So
Right now,
80,
yeah.
81 to 97.
Gen Y is also known as the millennials.
Millennials.
Right?
The millennials.
So
Yeah.
essentially, it's
You-
my
Yes.
it's my era.
It's
Yeah.
your era.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
It
No,
is.
you're Gen Z.
No, she's
I'm
not.
Gen Y. Oh, okay. If I'm 18 today,
Okay,
then yes,
okay.
I'm Gen
She's Gen Z.
So these are late 20s to 40s.
Yes. So they are in a corporate environment. They'd be on the way up. They would be accelerating their careers. They'd be looking to grow. They'd be looking to hustle, collect, make more money,
Okay.
do more.
Do more.
So
Yeah.
and they're also sandwiched. So that's why it's about blind spots today, because we're talking about that sandwich situation and how they're going to navigate something that might be potentially, challenging.
What is this sandwich?
Sandwich, because
Yeah.
the sandwich between Gen X and the Gen Zers.
But
Yeah.
all decades are sandwiched between
True,
two.
true.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
in this very modern workplace, there's a lot more, say, the mental wellness and the
Okay.
expectations.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Gen Zs are smart.
Are
so
they?
The Gen, they.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I'm glad she's. I was going to say it.
Giant's
She
like
said it.
focusing on something. Nothing. It's all good. Nobody's talking about you. Okay, we have 30 seconds and then we're going to go on
Okay,
air. And we
okay.
can do that again. Oh, no. Now Charlene
Ooh.
is here as well.
No,
No,
no.
you got more against
Oh,
you.
no. Cannot talk about the Gen Zs.
We're
Inappropriate.
We're even numbered. It's okay.
Are we?
Yeah. No, we outnumber them.
Yeah, of course
We
you
outnumber them. Yeah, of
course.
course. 1, 2,
This is
3,
why Adrian
4.
and myself quiet.
All right, we're going to go.
I'm Jamit Singh. Kiss 92 Sports is brought to you by SPC. Formulated with advanced additives and friction reduction technology, SPC Level effectively cleans your engine, restores power and performance for a smoother, more responsive drive, all with greater fuel savings.
Waking up Singapore. Gotta get up. The Big Show on Kiss 92. Gotta get up.
Good morning and happy Thursday. It is Happy at Work Thursday. You've got Angel, Juliana, the Flying Dutchman, and Yen from Korea Agility in the studio and at your service. And today we're talking about the Gen Y leaders
Yes.
and the blind spots that
Yes.
they may face.
That's right. So as we were saying, Gen Ys are between the late 20s to early 40s.
Right.
And so they're at that ripe moment in their career for acceleration, for growth, taking on more projects. They're probably running teams already. And so there are a few blind spots they should be looking out for. I feel very... I feel very empathetic and for them because they're going through a lot of challenges. I mean, most of them would probably have mortgages and they'd have kids and all of that. But at the same time, the corporate workplace has changed quite significantly. The Gen Zs are coming in and they're smart. We were just saying they're very smart. I suppose they have access to a lot of information and, you know, they're on TikTok or on Insta and they're listening to all these hacks, these career hacks from, well, I don't know if you want to call them career coaches, but they claim to be career coaches and they're saying this is what you should do and this and they're coming up with all sorts of terminology and ideas on how I'm talking about the Gen Zs here. Right? So young executives, you know, how you can take control of your life, but at the same time, what can you do to make sure that your leaders don't make you work longer, or you know, what we call hacks. You know, you hear that all the time. So Gen Y leaders have to manage these Gen Zers and their hacks. They have to outthink them somewhat, you know, and they have to manage the expectations of wellness. Can you imagine they have to meet the KPIs, but at the same time they're expected to be inclusive, have diversity, and yet have that politically correct language to manage mental well-being and the softness that's required from a Gen Zer. You know, that's a lot the Gen Y leader needs to take on.
And that's not counting the people that have come before the Gen Y leader.
Right.
The X's.
Which is a whole different mindset again.
Yes, because we are Gen X.
I don't think FD is there. This side of the table.
I'm including him in the Gen X.
I think at my age, I'm kind of out of the alphabet already.
Gen FD.
I'm out of the alphabet.
Gen F.
They're starting your alphabet already. The circle's going around again. But I wanted to go back to what you said earlier about the Gen Z as being smart. Okay, I'm not arguing that point. What I'm saying is what you said earlier was the terminologies that they're using on learning from TikTok.
Yes.
You know, the hacks that they're learning from
Yes.
social media. Not all of these may be correct.
Right.
Or the terms may be very loose.
Yes.
You know, I can't think of a term in particular. And they also have very little patience.
Yeah.
So
So there's a lot to say about all of that, and just to add to your point about what they're learning on TikTok and Insta, they're not necessarily culturally applicable here either.
Yes.
Because a lot of their tax seem to be on hourly rated workers, or how they would then be draw very clear boundaries about what's my time and what's work time.
So not full-timers then. It's a kind of like
It's a gig
economy type.
You know, so that, and then if you get all that media content from a different country and you try to apply it to Singapore, it may or may not fit.
Yeah.
This is why I feel Singaporeans should be putting out TikTok videos like that about the work life here in Singapore, rather than all of us trying to figure.
FD is going to start a
don't know if
TikTok
Yen
channel
agrees.
now.
I can't. I'm too old for this.
No, I don't think so. Okay, let's continue this conversation on The Big Show TV. Join us on Facebook and YouTube. Here's Kenya Grace with Strangers on Kiss 92.
Do we need more TikTok content?
But I feel no one's doing it here because you can't be completely open
Or if your
about...
boss finds out
Exactly,
about it.
yeah.
But you know, so many people try and base it on what they hear from people in America and people in Europe and people in Australia. And I have said this, whether you're talking any industry in Singapore, we are a unique animal.
Yeah. But to be fair, there are a lot of US MNCs. and they do try to impose a lot of their policies and protocols into how things are run, and they're not all bad, because there's the evolution of the corporate world has come a certain way, and there's an expectation of fairness and equality and all of that, which is great. I mean, again, so with the Gen Zers, they have more access to such information, and if they face any conundrums, they'll just go online and do a search, and they can ask AI. A quick aside, do you remember a time when we needed something and we were asking a question like, where do I find something? What do you and I do? We would first think about who we can ask.
It would be asked,
and it took me a long time to just get Google to be my best friend.
Right. It didn't take me long at all. No, it's just like, oh my goodness, it's all at my fingertips.
So for a while, up till today, if I want to find out something, my first instinct is Google.
Yeah.
But with the Gen Zs, they got AI. So just go chat GPT it now.
Yeah, but I wouldn't
you get
trust
all the answers.
But the thing is with ChatGPT, from what I've heard, it's not as up to date as you would find on Google necessarily, because I think it stops at a certain year or something like that. I really don't know how that AI works and how you can really trust it.
So there are many other platforms.
There are.
So we've got Beta AI, and we've got Claude, and we've got a few others. And so, and again, to your point, maybe it's not just about getting factual information, but asking for advice. So it's a pseudo mentor if you think about it. It's like, okay, my boss is giving me a hard time. What do I do? Boom. And then it might give you answers. So you've got some.
I got ChatGPT open if you'd like to find out.
But aren't some of those answers very perfect world?
Yes, and they're generic, but it gives you ideas. And so if I'm a Gen Zer and I'm a new executive, and I want to ask, what do I do to manage up more effectively? I'm going to get the answers. I mean, it's going to be very generic. But I'm saying, so my point is that the Gen Y leader has to stay ahead of the Gen Z smarts.
Yes, for sure.
And it's not well, psychologically it's quite challenging because they've got many moving parts. They've got to juggle the bosses, the KPIs, the customers, the operations, the numbers. And then they have to manage
the
teams,
wellness, the emotions, and everything else.
The inclusivity, the diversity, the
which you can do on
correctness.
ChatGPT as well. Like if you're, I see it, if you're a Gen Y leader and you're having issues, say, with your staff or anything, how do I manage mental wellness for my staff? I'm sure ChatGPT will give you, or Google, or Bing, or whatever you use, will give you lots of ideas. At least with those ideas, it can kickstart that thought process, and you go, okay.
Yes.
Perhaps we should get together for lunch, and then everyone can do a sharing session or whatever it may be.
Eventually, it has to come down to face to face. That's what I'm trying to say.
For sure.
Eventually, it needs to come down to face to face. It must.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
It will. We're not saying it does. It won't.
It
For sure.
So a Gen Y leader has got more on his or her plate than ever before. That's
tough.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
much
very
more.
tough.
Yeah.
Can they actually please everybody?
They can't. So that's the big thing, right? So I found that with our clients at Career Agility, and they're all in this age group.
Yeah.
So late 30s, early 40s, and we'll push the boundary a little bit. But they're very burnt out because they're trying to please everyone, and they're trying to take on more because they are on that path. So if you're considered a high potential executive, they're going to reward you with more work.
Yeah.
Drive promotions all around. Hey, that's a special project. Can you take charge?
Yeah.
So a Gen Y leader's got to watch out for all of that and be careful about burning out too fast or taking on too much. And if you try to please everyone, you please no one, and you get a lot of half-baked projects, which is worse because they say you didn't do a good job, but only because you accepted the poison chalice. So be careful what projects you take on as well. If there are any Gen Ys out there, Juliana, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
At what point, do you feel like you may have taken on too much, or they've got too much to juggle, or you feel, a little bit your bandwidth?
I think that's a fair concern to have because I am somebody who cannot say no.
Oh.
Especially to authority. So if it comes from the top and somebody asks like, Juliana, you do this, okay? Okay.
Right.
And then I figure out how to do it.
So you say yes first and figure it out later.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I would feel like, it's part of my job scope, right?
You feel responsible.
I do feel responsible.
Even
for
if it's not part of your job scope.
Maybe, perhaps, yeah. Because it's coming from up there. you know, and then I will figure out how to do it. And maybe that is something that I've learned the previous generation did, because they didn't seem to like question it too much.
Or complain or do
Yeah.
anything
Right.
else,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But given how complicated the world is, what's happened to one of my clients is that she said yes to a project. And before everything else was clarified, as in compensation, and so she's double hatting. And the flying is increased exponentially, but the flights have not been great. You have to fly as optimally as possible.
No, you could talk about economy class, yes.
Budget.
For long distance. Oh my gosh.
Budget.
Even
Right?
worse.
It's worse,
Yeah.
and on top of that, there are other costs associated with having to get out of the country.
Sure.
So asking for something after you try it, and then you realize that, oh, hang on,
It's
because
quite
you've
different.
already said yes.
Yeah.
So balance of power has shifted, and you can't go back and say, "Oh, I can
I've
I get
thought
more
about it.
money because this project is taking more resources than I expected."
You can't backtrack.
You can't. So Gen Ys are kind of stuck, and the Gen X are just pushing it down.
Would it be fair to say then for a Gen Yer like Juliana, and maybe she's stereotypical, I don't know, to learn how to say no?
Yes. It's a huge one. I think we did a topic on that.
Yes.
There was an episode on how to say no, how to draw some boundaries, and how to make sure that your time doesn't get encroached too much.
Do you feel like the Gen Zers are better at saying no?
Oh, that's a great question. I've not
I will say
coached.
from personal experience, yes.
They're really good at saying no.
Okay, hang on, let's go
me.
to traffic.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Okay, taking a look at what's happening on the roads. If you are on the CTE, in the tunnel actually, heading towards the AYE, right before the Bukatima Road, exit of vehicles broken down. Also on the MCE towards the ECP, another vehicle having trouble after the Central Boulevard exit. And finally on Chua Chu Kang Road, an accident near the junction of Upper Bukatima Road. FD, that's your area.
Yeah.
Do you know what's happening there?
I have no idea.
Okay, all right. I thought you knew everything that was happening there.
No,
anyway,
not
send your
really.
people out.
Okay,
all
I
right, and
will.
tell them to WhatsApp us at 88550920. It's Happy at Work Thursday. You've got Angel, Juliana, the Flying Dutchman, and Yen of Korea Agility International. Now, if you have any questions for them at all, any questions for our career strategists, you can get in touch at info@koreaagility.org.
So we were talking, before we went for traffic, we were talking about this ability to say no. And I just mumbled out that I think the Gen Zers have
No problem.
have
saying-
no problem with saying no. My thought process behind that is the Gen Xers and some of the Gen Ys, they believe they have responsibility. The Gen Zers believe they have rights.
Yes.
And that's the difference.
Yes.
Am I right?
You are so spot on.
There you go.
And for us, we would look at the Gen Zs and say they're entitled.
Yeah.
Because they believe in their rights.
Yeah.
But they were brought up that way.
Exactly.
So I cannot blame them.
Yeah.
And I think because, again, they have all these hacks available at their
Mm.
fingertips, and they've got all these wonderful wisdom that's available online, they're training themselves to learn how to set boundaries already.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I just want to interrupt our conversation for now and say hello to Chai Chu. Chai Chu is about to embark on a 19-hour journey back home to Singapore because Chai Chu is listening to us from New York City. So,
Hey.
That's a
good
long flight.
evening,
Good
Chai
evening.
Chu. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you too are listening to us from anywhere in the world, you can always WhatsApp us at 88550920.
Chai Chu, 19-hour flight back to Singapore, business class.
Hopefully.
It must be Singapore Airlines, the longest flight in the world.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get down to this. So Gen Zers can say no. They've learned how to do it.
Gen
Well,
Zers.
Gen
I've
Zers, yeah.
not yet met someone, a Gen Zer, who has difficulty saying
Saying
no.
no, Oh, yeah.
It's the Gen Yers that
Yeah.
find it a bit hard to say.
Again, it's not fair. I don't want to have a sweeping brush across all,
course,
all
yeah, yeah.
everyone and stereotyping it. I just feel like I said, Gen Zers are smarter. They're probably more trained on how to push back. Gen Ys feel very, very stretched and very, very stuck. So the Gen Y leader, I feel, as one of their blind spots or area for development, is to really work on that empathy and understanding and interpersonal skills. One of the things that happens is that a lot of the executives in the corporate environment tend to over-focus on goals and making sure that they meet those KPIs, which is fine because, it is what you're paid to do. It could also possibly be gender. Some men are just more like, okay, goal-oriented, task-oriented. They come in and say, boom, 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 let's just get this done. But they have to work on that empathy and that self-awareness and understanding that each unique individual would have a different challenge. So one of the key things about most leaders, I would like to ask most managers out there, do you know your team member's birthday? You should. You should have it and you should recognize that.
Yeah.
Put it in the calendar.
Are you able to say good job and be authentic about it?
Yeah.
It's tough as well. Are you able to recognize your team? Are you able to do celebrate small wins? Are you able to just make things more harmonious rather than rigid, militant?
Yeah.
There's sometimes, teams can be very hierarchical.
So these are kind of like soft skills that people need to have, right?
It's soft skills that, and more importantly, I think one of the major skills that they can pick up is presentation to senior management. So learning how to walk the talk and speak the language of senior management and present data and ideas at that level with that commercial impact in mind. So that's a different skill altogether.
Okay, let's continue this conversation on The Big Show TV. Join us on Facebook and YouTube at Kiss 92. The time right now, it's coming up to 8:22.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought.
Yeah, presentation skills. I mean, that's a whole different monster altogether
It
because public speaking is one of the hardest
It doesn't
things
even need to be
master.
necessarily public speaking. It's just presentation.
But that is still, for
But
me,
yes,
I
public.
feel it's public speaking. Like if you were to put me up in front of a group of people I know, say here,
Yeah.
I find it a little bit harder to present than putting me up in front of strangers.
Absolutely.
I find it harder to speak in front of family and friends because
Yeah.
they know me
Yeah.
and they know exactly. Oh, my goodness. Stop distracting us, Andre. Wait, hold on. Do you want another photo? We can take it together. We're on The Big Show TV. Andre, let's do it. Let's do it. No, he can't hear us. Okay.
Anyways.
Now he doesn't pay
Yeah,
attention.
now he's not paying attention.
But yeah, I find it very difficult to speak in front of people I know because I feel they know me. And so if I say something that's out of character, they'll be like, oh.
Yeah.
But then if I speak in front of a group of strangers, they have no idea.
It's a clean slate.
It's a clean slate where
Yeah.
my journey is, where I come from, or anything.
Yeah.
So I can BS my way through
Yeah.
the entire
Yeah.
thing and
Yeah.
pretend I
Yeah.
know stuff I don't.
It's contextual, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
It's also how we project our own insecurities. Because
This is
maybe
true
it
as
doesn't
well.
matter. But you're right. And so a Gen Y leader needs to have all of these soft skills. A big one, above and beyond all the wonderful ones we've been talking about in terms of areas for development, is the art of giving feedback. It's something that in our B2B work, Adrian and I are going out to a lot of these large companies, these banks and these telco companies, and a lot of the work that we're doing, a lot of the facilitation and training is all in the art of managing stakeholders, influencing without authority, and learning how to give feedback. It's harder than it sounds.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, I have to give feedback on someone's performance. And the conventional wisdom is we should sandwich that negative feedback with two positive things. Like I should sit down with you and say, okay, this is good,
but
this is not so good, but overall great. That message is gone.
okay.
It doesn't work.
What is it now?
Well, you should give direct feedback.
Be honest.
Like
Yeah.
Diplomatically.
don't beat around the bush.
But it's really hard.
It
it's
is.
actually really, really hard to do. And funnily enough, we're getting engaged to run workshops to help our B2B clients and teams sort of understand these soft skills. I think people are neglecting the soft skills. And the funny thing is, it's a very funny, I've noticed as an observation that young entry-level executives, fresh graduates, they come in, all they have are soft skills. because they've got no hard skills.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
for the next 20 years, everyone is telling them, you're not tangible enough. You don't have any hard skills.
Yeah.
We want real experience.
But are
And
these-
then
but are
at
they-
40, they're going like, hey, your soft skills are not good enough
Yeah.
for C-suite.
Yeah.
So they need that. They need some hardness. They need some of that.
No, that level of soft skill is a different art. It's a different. It's about executive presence. It's about communication. It's about understanding commercial impact. It's a language.
And
on
and
its
this
own.
is stuff that, I mean, if someone wants to improve their soft skills, if someone wants to learn better soft skills, then they would come to someone like you guys.
Yes, you can come to us, and it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's not going to change over one conversation.
yeah.
It's a whole process.
Yeah.
It starts with awareness. It's your reading diet. It's your YouTube diet. It's your mentors. Who are you hanging around with? Because if you hang around those sort of people, you start to adopt a lot of that language. You know, that phrase. We are the average of our best
Yes.
five closest friends.
Yeah.
Five around
So,
you.
so yeah. So if you hang around like the professionals who embody a lot of those characteristics that you want to adopt, then maybe osmotically you like absorb.
Yeah.
Of course,
Right.
So it's a whole thing. That's why we have coaching programs, and that's why our clients are getting better at what they do. I'm very proud of that, by the way.
That's very good. I wanted to say you were talking about learning to give feedback,
Yeah.
but at the same time, people also need to learn how to take feedback.
Oh
right?
yes.
That's not a lot of people
yeah.
deal with constructive criticism well or adapt to changes.
It's really hard for even myself to listen to someone say something bad and not feel the stab in my soul.
It's almost like it's an attack.
Then after that, they twist the knife in there and go like, oh,
and they're not even using a knife; they're using a spoon.
right, and that's more painful.
Exactly, and slower.
Yeah, so it's really hard, and maybe we need an outside perspective to say, look, all of this negative emotions that you are feeling may not be appropriate, because let's pause for a moment and think about where that feedback is coming from. Is it malicious? If it's not malicious, then maybe it's coming from someone who doesn't have filter, and maybe that's not necessarily bad because they mean well. You know, growing up, my mother is very helpful in pointing out everything that's wrong.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
No, not just your mother.
Mums are good that way.
I still get it.
Yeah.
And it's just the one thing, and you're like, oh, okay.
Like 99 on a test, but could be better.
Oh, that's very nice already. I mean, I think that's very nice already. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. So if that's what we've heard growing up, and that's what we convey,
Of course.
or that's what we receive, we forget that any feedback is a gift, and
Not
it's-
any feedback,
I think it's a gift. It's your decision to accept or return that gift.
and also how you respond to
Exactly.
it or react to it
Exactly.
internally,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's not easy. Not easy.
Because I could tell you, I think you're really. I want to say something really kind or mean.
Mean.
That-
Go
okay,
ahead.
I'll say I think you're really crap at giving advice,
Yeah.
and then you could either hate me for saying it, or you could take it on and go, okay, so maybe Angel's that
What
kind of
part?
person that doesn't quite gel with what I'm saying. So let me try and change the language
Possibly
to the fact
or
to be able to get me to like what she's saying.
Or
You know
my
what I mean?
instinct would be to find out which
Which part exactly?
and what aspect and within
Yeah.
what context, because then it gets all convoluted, because when you mix emotions into it,
Yes.
or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
And
know,
it makes you stronger as well,
Yeah,
right?
if I'm critiquing, say, a project that you're very proud of, you know, this is your blue eye.
That's
You know
just
that
jealousy.
Yeah.
ugly baby syndrome.
Yeah.
You cannot tell a new mom the baby is ugly.
It looks like Winston Churchill.
You can't. you know. So
Yeah.
so you've got
Yeah.
So I've got to figure out like what part, what aspect, and then
Yeah.
can we have a discsion on that?
It's like if the baby's good looking, you go, you've got a beautiful baby. If the baby's not good looking, you go, you got a baby.
Oh my gosh!
Congratulations, you got a baby.
That's right.
But all newborn babies look the same, so use the same line for everyone, okay? Okay, we're coming up to traffic.
92 traffic.
A couple of situations out in the west on the BKE towards Woodlands. An accident spotted after Woodlands Avenue 3's exit avoid lanes 1 and 3. And also on the AYE towards the MCE after the Jurong Town Hall entrance, a vehicle's broken down there. If you spot anything at all, you can WhatsApp us 8855 It's Happy at Work Thursday. We're with a career strategist, Yen from Career Agility, and we're talking about blind spots that Gen Y leaders should look out for.
Yeah.
One of the biggest, I think we're on our fourth point now, is that we recognize that a lot of Gen Ys, or a lot of people, I think this applies to everyone, pardon me, I think it applies to everyone. People who need help, they should ask for help. And sometimes asking for help is quite difficult to do. If you find that you're in a corporate environment that maybe isn't very friendly, you're not sure how to go about it. And so I would just say, like, look for mentors, or just go get some advice from people who have been that journey before, not necessarily someone within your organization.
I'm sure there's a
So
friendly
ask for
face
advice.
somewhere.
Right?
You know,
I
there
would
must
think
be
so.
a friendly
I
face
think it's
somewhere.
not so much a friendly face. But what I've bumped into is a lot of people don't ask for advice because this sounds very strange, because they lack confidence.
Yeah, of course.
They feel that if I'm asking for advice, I don't know, I can't do that.
You're
reflects-
incompetent.
Yeah.
That reflects
Yeah.
badly on me.
On
Yeah.
the other end of the spectrum, people who don't ask for advice is because they overestimate their skills and their abilities, and they think they know the answer.
Overconfidence.
I've seen that as well.
Yeah.
So I think as a new leader, or a leader that's sandwiched, or you're feeling that the dynamics of the team or your environment is changing things up, you get help anyway. You know, we should never try to travel this alone. Just even asking for, is this a right thing to do? Like, not necessarily asking what should I do, but I'm thinking of doing ABC. What are your thoughts?
But before you ask that question, ask yourself that question 10 times. Because sometimes a lot of people speak before they think.
Right.
And then you look incompetent because you're asking before you're even thinking about whether it's possible to do it. A lot of people do that.
Like just trying to get answers without even trying to
so
solve
no
the problem
effort.
itself.
You know what I mean?
But
Not
as
putting
a-
an effort in at all.
As an extrovert, I think and talk at the same time.
Yeah, so do I.
So
Yeah, always.
actually, it is me thinking, but I'm thinking out
Out
loud.
loud.
You just need
Right.
to process it with somebody.
Yeah, but I think processing it is what people don't do enough of
Yeah.
before they speak. You know, they speak before they think. So if there's, like, say, a project or something, you know, go Google it or find out if you can do it, and then if you really can't, then you can ask for the proper help or
Yeah.
assistance.
And sometimes the help doesn't need to be a technical one. It can be an emotional support. It can be all sorts of other things. You know, you can just ask someone to double check whether or not this is okay.
Yeah.
And ask someone from a different perspective, how does this sound? If I were to
I like
present
that.
it like this, what do you think? Because in the work that I do, sometimes I give my clients vocabulary and I go like, but hang on, you know, you've got to figure out whether or not it fits. It sounds really good in your brain, but by the time you deliver it verbally, it's like, oh, okay, it didn't come out the way I heard it in my mind.
Yeah.
Hearing it out loud is like a whole different thing.
So maybe we need to talk to ourselves in the mirror in the morning when we're brushing our teeth.
If that works, yeah, for sure.
Do your
Yeah.
affirmation.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue on The Big Show TV. Here's Kung's Cooking on 3 Burners with This Girl on Kiss 92. Kung's Cooking on 3, but is that one band or is that like a collaboration? Is Kung's one group? Or is it Kung's
I
and
actually
Cooking? Or
searched
it's
it.
one group. Is it Kung's and Cooking on 3 Burners? Okay. Let's talk about personal and professional branding.
Yes.
How important is that?
It's so important. I'm meeting so many late 30s who have very little LinkedIn presence, for instance. Sometimes it's just because they never needed it. And then by the time they realize it's important, they've got to start from scratch, and it's challenging. Despite all of the noise that the world is making, and they're not on LinkedIn, which is a really important platform for your own brand. And
Yeah.
you know, I think it's well, if you are a career, you know, you're on the cusp of greatness, and you're on your way to the top, there are more people, important ones, who have a say in whether or not you get promoted, that are invisible to you.
Yeah.
And they would probably go onto your LinkedIn and go like, what's this person? Who? Never
Yes.
heard of this person. Why would we want to promote him or her? Yeah. So the LinkedIn profile is so important, and it's also very important that you put the right content on LinkedIn and be careful how you present. So for Gen Ys, because they were younger a while back, their LinkedIn profile would have a lot more of that youthful language. And then they don't change that outfit. So imagine like a 60-year-old woman wearing something your teenage daughter would wear. It wouldn't fit. So you've got to have a consistent and clear profile, narrative, brand, what have you, with it on LinkedIn.
And also, like on LinkedIn, although it is a social platform, it is a social professional platform.
That's right.
I think a lot of people mistake it for Instagram or Facebook
Yes.
and
Yeah.
It's
put
not Facebook.
holiday photos.
Oh, yeah, they
and,
do all kinds
you know,
of stuff.
kids photos. Unless the kids photo is related to, say, a career change,
Yes.
then you put it up.
But even then, why would you put your child's
No,
photo?
I'm saying perhaps
Perhaps.
a mother is coming out of being a stay-at-home mom and
Yeah,
going into
yeah.
returning to the workplace, you know, something that's related to her professional life or his professional life, then it's okay to put your kid's photo up and say, okay,
But please,
you know,
please
this
anonymize that photo.
Yeah,
Don't put your kids on.
if they choose to, you know, some people don't and some people do, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we leave that to them. But I
and
think
too much humble bragging and too
Oh,
much
yeah.
I'm delighted and
yeah.
and sometimes it is a post about something else, but then they make it about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've spoken to a few of late 20, early 30s, and I go, and because it's always, the one thing I remember from discussions with you and Adrian is branding.
Yes.
Branding.
Yeah.
You've got to have a brand. You've got to have a brand.
Yeah.
And I asked them, so what's your brand? And you know what their answer is? What are you talking about?
Oh no.
They don't understand the concept of you need a brand.
Yeah. And if you don't brand yourself, people will do it for you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And they will
absolutely.
use sometimes the worst descriptions.
Yeah.
Just recently, I heard someone, a good friend, say, "Oh, this one Tai Tai." Come on.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's not just a Tai. She's not a Tai Tai. you know.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
the most amazing person.
Yeah.
She's got other.
She's got
accolades.
more to that
Yeah.
than
Right.
ladies who
Yeah.
lunch.
Right. And there are other things like, so for a young executive, if you don't put your foot down and claim your fame, people will
Label
they
you.
will label you from the university you come from, good or bad.
Yeah.
You know, and people will have judgment about that. Or if they notice that you're always tardy, or that one time you're tardy, or that late fella.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not fair because people see what they see, and then it creates that impression in their minds. So that whole reputation management is really key, and we spend a lot of time with our clients doing that because it's something that they're not aware that they have to manage, because they drank from the Singapore
Kool-Aid.
education system where meritocracy, it's about the results. No, it's not just the results, it's everything else that surrounds the
it.
results.
Right.
So the question that then comes up when they go, so what's brand? The next question that comes up is, so how do I start?
How do I find my
Yeah.
own brand?
How do I start?
Yeah.
Where do I start?
Well, it's a narrative that you would use when you introduce yourself, and when you put it on LinkedIn, and it's also all over the resume. A professional brand, and then it's all the behaviors associated with what that brand is. So if you want to be known as an innovator or a creative individual, then when you go into your office and you do your work, your projects, you're always coming up with ideas. And so, you know, some people we're multifaceted, obviously. So yes, you're good at something, but you're also good at this other thing. And then people come and find you for that subject matter expertise. You know, you could be someone who works on projects, but you're really good at Excel. And you can do macros, and you can do like formulas and amazing pivot tables, and people would come to you for that. So there are many facets. How do you start? You just write it down somewhere first.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Over
I was going to
time.
ask you
Yeah, so
how
how do
does
you
one
start?
start? Because
Yeah.
you said you start with what you do. You start with how you introduce yourself to people.
Well, you write it down somewhere.
So for someone who is a complete noob at this,
Yeah.
no idea what you're talking
Yeah,
about,
Yeah.
I've got my piece of paper in front of me. Okay, my name is Angel, and I'm really good at.
Yeah, then you
Write
write
that
down.
down. I do
Superpowers,
this.
I do this. What I like, what I don't like.
Don't write any negatives.
Well, why not?
Well,
Okay.
she said what you don't like.
It helps
Yeah.
you to kind of
Because
draw
it's
your
for
boundaries,
yourself first, right?
draw the boundaries. I'm like, okay, so having that clarity. So it's not difficult, but sometimes they lack vocabulary, and that's why again they come to us because they take their skills and their superpowers for granted.
And would this be a good point to actually talk to somebody else about this? Some people cannot decide for themselves
Yes.
also, right?
Exactly.
Or
They don't know where to
yes.
They can't
start.
see themselves
Yeah.
from an outside point of view.
Imposter syndrome.
So you can ask the professional mentors. What give me some feedback on what's it like so far, and what are my areas for improvement, and what are my strengths. What do you see as my strengths, and then you get the vocabulary from there. You could also do this very quick exercise with your friends. Like, why are we friends? Sometimes when you put your friend on the spot like that, they'll say like, "Oh, because
Why are we
great?"
Oh, you're so much fun. You can drink like 5 beers more than I can.
Yeah.
You dance on the table when you're drunk.
Superpower, beer drinking.
Because that gives you an idea of what your superpower is and kind of like define it a little bit.
That's a
more.
very interesting question
Yeah.
to ask your friends, because
Why are we
what
friends?
would they say?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't know if I could,
See?
face that.
I don't know whether I'd risk it.
But they'll say nice
You
things,
risk
no?
it. Yeah, of
I
course
don't know
people
whether
would
I'd
say
risk it.
nice things.
No.
People are not.
Sometimes there's a bit of that
What kind of
passive
friends you
aggressive.
hanging
Yeah, you
around
need to
with?
re-evaluate your friends.
Because my friends are the kind of so why are we friends?
Yeah, what would
why,
they say?
Why am I part of this group? Why
Yeah.
are we friends? Every group needs an idiot.
FD.
But those are my friends.
Let's just say we are these friends that you hang around with, okay? Let's just say we
Okay.
are ABC, the actual people that
Okay.
you hang around
Okay.
with. Someone's asked you that about friend A. What would you say? 3 words to describe friend A, and you can have that visual in your head about friend A, an actual friend A. What would you say? 3 words to describe friend A. What would you say? You gotta go quicker than that. It's like a quick on your feet kind of answer.
Oh, okay. You're funny. You're a great conversationalist, and you know when to shut up.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
honesty.
Yeah.
But
That's
yet you were
honesty.
saying something about being passive aggressive.
I don't know, because sometimes when you put someone on the spot like that, I'm thinking from a Gen
Because
Z
you're
point
putting
of
them
view,
on the spot.
because also I'm thinking more like, I don't know why my brain went there, but teenage girls. And they're very sweet, but there's always something else.
Underlying.
Or maybe I'm projecting.
Okay, hang on.
But that's my
Okay.
superpower. I overthink.
Oh, okay.
One of my favorite songs, that was Troye Sivan with Rush on Kiss 92. All the great songs in one place. It is Happy at Work Thursday. It is Angel, Juliana, and the Flying Dutchman with our very special guest, Yen from Korea Agility International.
Here's a question from Mal. Mal, thank you. The last couple of days, you've been giving us some really good stuff. I use LinkedIn, but seldom post stuff. And those who post often are the ones who have a lot of panache. Question. What is considered having a presence on LinkedIn?
Okay, good question though.
I think at the very baseline, you have to have a profile, and it has to be a complete profile and accurate to your current career objective. So if it's intended for acceleration and career growth, I think it's a different sort of profile than someone who's running it for a business, for example, or a consultant or a fresh entry-level graduate. An interesting point about the posting. Sometimes you wonder, gosh, these people are very free. But a lot of the posts are AI generated. And you can check. So you can take the post and put it into
Copy
an
and paste it, yeah, and then?
AI checker. And they'll tell you, is it 100% AI or 30% AI?
So if it's 30% AI, they've put
And
it
then I
into
judge.
AI and then they like
They've
sort of
tweaked
tweaked
it a
it to
little bit.
their
Yeah,
language,
yeah,
right? Which is
yeah.
okay.
Which
I
is
find
okay. Which
it's
is okay.
fine.
But if it's 100%, I judge so hard. Hard.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking, I wish there was a thumbs down button
Yeah.
instead of a
Yeah.
thumbs up button.
Yeah.
Because LinkedIn is getting into that. And again, posting at what time of the day? Gosh,
Yeah,
you know,
middle of
in
the
the
day.
middle of the office hours, there'd be something wrong. Again, that's a bad reputation. Please
But you
don't do
can
that.
schedule your posts.
You can.
You know what
can.
I mean? And you can
You can.
schedule it to say lunchtime because you know everyone's on their phones.
Yes,
Or going
yes.
home on the MRT,
Yes.
everyone's on their
Yeah.
phones. So you
Yes.
post it at that time.
Yes, yes.
Is lunchtime okay?
Yes, I think not.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
Not for a working-
and not every day. And so if you're a content creator, you post every day. That's a given because
Yeah.
that's your job.
Yeah.
But you have a day job, so you shouldn't be posting happy hour beer.
Oh, right. Yeah,
or oh, my
yeah.
trip was wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
while everyone else is working really hard,
Oh,
and
but
then you're
I-
posting about your trip.
I put travel stuff up
But
on
if you're a
LinkedIn.
vlogger and it's
Yeah,
your work,
then it's
it's
okay.
different, right?
Okay.
Because it's part of your job to post about the trip.
Yeah.
So again, it's very important to figure out what that brand and that reputation is and what message you're trying to project. Without knowing it, sometimes we stumble into something and we kick ourselves or we shoot ourselves in the foot
Yeah.
accidentally because it's a blind spot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. You were saying to at least have a presence on LinkedIn because of Maul's question. So make sure your profile is complete.
Yes.
Everything that's needed to
A photograph is
a
really
good
important.
professional
a
photograph.
proper photograph.
Not
So-
a holiday photograph.
and not no mask, no glasses.
Unless you wear glasses.
Again,
Sunglasses.
sunglasses. You know what gets my goat a little bit. You know those photographs where they've got the microphone and the photograph looks it's wrong because it's not a profile photo.
It's not a headshot.
It's not a headshot. It's a picture of you with a microphone. Why?
Unless you're an MC.
But why?
But-
Shouldn't you just have your headshot?
Yeah, I
like,
think for
why?
MCs,
Well,
for me, I think MCs
yeah.
are okay to
Because
have that.
the microphone
Straight away.
immediately says public speaker,
Yeah.
MC.
But I
It-
feel like your photograph should be looking at the camera, not looking away.
Okay.
You should be looking at the camera.
Not a candid shot
Yes.
of something. Okay.
Or a side
okay,
shot.
okay.
Let's continue talking about how good your LinkedIn profile needs to look in terms of professional
Well, yeah.
outlook
Yeah.
from an external party. Here's the Chainsmokers featuring Halsey with Closer.
Mal's come back again and she says, I do find LinkedIn posts, this is very interesting. I do find LinkedIn posts intimidating sometimes
Yes.
due to the excess positivity. And yeah, I agree that a lot of it is fake.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend spending too much time scrolling through the feed.
Okay.
No. But
Yeah.
if you follow specific individuals and you stick to your industry groups and you carefully curate your content, I think you'll be okay. Don't spend too much time scrolling through other people's highlight reels and all their proud moments and
Yeah.
all their humble achievements.
And they're tooting their own horns.
Unless you want them to notice you and you specifically targeted that individual,
Yeah.
and by all means, please like that post and comment
Yeah.
on it.
When again, we're going back to Mal about postings, you don't have to post.
No, you don't have to post.
You don't have to post,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
do scroll and, like you said, if you want to get attention of someone that you want to get attention
Yeah,
of,
yeah. Connect to
interact
them.
with their posts and connect with them.
directly. You can. I mean, nothing's stopping you.
Yeah, they may
Yeah.
not get back to you.
It's
But,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
okay too. And you know, LinkedIn is a very powerful platform, but you have to manage it appropriately. And so if you want to be a content creator, you have to post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if you're busy with your day job and you're using it for professional connections, then use it for professional connections and connect one to one and do a lot of messaging and connecting with people because it's easier that way as well than to have to call someone because it's really weird. If I haven't spoken to you for 3 months, I'm calling you, go like, hey, how's it going? It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I would just send you go like, hey, how's it going as a DM, that's okay.
Let's have a catch-up call and then ring the person kind of thing.
Something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And make
but
use of your
LinkedIn-
network as well,
So
right?
I want to go back to the photo a little bit. So the photo should be a headshot,
It almost
not
feel like
a full body shot.
I'm a bit called out for that. You know?
Oh,
I mean,
no.
no. My picture is not me with the microphone.
Yeah.
It's my SPH photo.
Okay. Yeah, mine as
but,
well.
But I can imagine
saw,
how.
I think your photo was very nice.
Oh,
'cause
thank
you're very
you.
pretty.
Thank you. But I would have imagined like it would be okay for an MC or a speaker or something to have a microphone.
That's what I
just
would
to-
think as well.
I think if you had that, say as something you post, it's okay because you're gonna have lots of that. So your it should be your headshot.
The headshot is just professional.
Yeah, I see
and it
yours
should
is
be your
nice.
headshot, not like a half body or a full body photo, and I can't see you because the picture's too tiny. Or worse, you have a picture of your headshot, and the backdrop is your photograph again.
Oh, that's what I have. I have on stage as my banner. and then my SPH photo as my headshot.
Because you have an activity and you're doing the emceeing.
Yes. It's a
Right,
banner.
right,
It's a
right.
banner.
So
with-
it's
yeah.
it's
well, it's front of a photo wall.
what's it?
Actually.
It's like it's brand appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what? Okay. So for someone who's say not a public speaker, what should the banner have?
Well, something that is brand appropriate. So it could be industry related, or it could have a description or what
blank.
Or well, blank is just wasted space. So
It's advertising, right?
It is, isn't it? It's your personal advertising. So it should have something that means something to you. So, for example, you could find a little stick figures that explain what you do. Earlier in my profile, I had, but before my corporate banner right now. There are corporate banners, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you do have, you should be using it. But I had one of those stick figures with a gear. So it's like a graphical representation of what I do to help accelerate a person.
Okay.
You know, things like that.
Okay.
Or sometimes there's a word cloud that explains what you do.
Right. Okay.
There are many.
So it can be
you
a little
you can
sort of
take, you can take a lot of
cartoon
artistic licenses with what image you want to post on the
Okay.
banner.
Okay. Fair enough.
But the headline is very important. Summary is very important because that's your brand. The words that you use to describe what you are, it's really important.
Okay. Okay. Mine says radio presenter, The Big Show, Kiss 92, host, voice creator.
Nice,
Right?
nice. So
Thank
you have
you.
5 labels.
I have
And
many labels.
I think you have more. You can put entrepreneur.
I put tech, travel, sustainability, lifestyle, wellness, woman in business, co-founder,
Yeah,
chief
yeah,
branding
yeah.
officer.
nice. Yes,
Is
all
there
of that.
is there
It's all
too many?
Yeah. Is that too
Yeah.
many to
Yeah.
write?
I can't say because we all have. It's so subjective. But I think you can do a bit of testing, and then you'll see if you put it out there, you let it marinate, and then you're thinking, maybe it's too much. You take it out. Then you just use your intuition to get a look see. But the again, I think executives need to consider what they're putting out on the internet.
Okay. We're just going to go to live weather right now.
Okay. No questions asked. Terms apply. Brought to you by Shopee. Only on Kiss 92.
Kiss 92 weather.
Looks like we've got a mostly cloudy day ahead of us today. No sign of any rain at this point in time. 31 degrees Celsius, the high temperature.
Kiss 92 weather brought to you by Mitsubishi Electric. Mitsubishi Electric StarMax Aircon saves you energy and money. It's easy to clean and is one of the quietest.
All right, we're back on air with Career Agility International, and representing the company is Yen. If you want to get in touch for some career advice, you need a career strategist, you can always get in touch with them at info@careeragility.org.
Yes, that's right. And so we're talking about what Gen Y leaders need to look out for. I think the biggest one of all is a failure to plan for career transitions. So hear me out. So even if you're thinking status quo, things are good, my boss is great, I can see the next, 2-3 years ahead, things are great. Things will happen and they've got to be comfortable with change. So there might be opportunities for them to take on new projects or a new role within the organization. They've got to start thinking about how they're going to do it by planning for who's going to take over their jobs. So it's succession planning as well. So I'm thinking from a positive standpoint. Never just sit on status quo and don't stay in your comfort zone. Start planning about possibilities so that you can grow as well, because Gen Ys are on that decade of growth. And so, I mean, you've heard us on radio talking about retrenchments and restructuring
Yeah.
and all of that. That's a given as well. So plan for that, but also plan for growth.
So no one should rest on their laurels.
Well, the laurels are not very comfortable to rest on.
Which is true.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they might be prickly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like thorns.
It's really about constantly thinking what's next. And so if you have set your mind to it and you're thinking about it, then when the opportunity presents itself, you can execute quite quickly. And so getting comfortable with change and planning for it.
Basically, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
I was trying not to say it, but
I
But
said
that
it
is
this
the
way.
truth.
it is.
That is the truth.
It is.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Yen, for being here with us this Thursday. We always
Always a
enjoy having you in the studio. That was Happy at Work Thursday. If you missed anything at all, you can always head to our YouTube and Facebook channels.
Kiss.
The Big Show.
Kiss 92.